New York Knicks are NBA champions. I never thought I would actually ever say that on this podcast. And if you think that's wild, just wait till I say next. I never thought I would say this until recently. I'd rather have Jalen Brunson than Luka Doncic. And I'll get into it because I was flying in from Vancouver back home the other day. I had a lot of time to think. And if you've been to Vancouver, it's very similar to Seattle.
Very.
Beautiful cities, there's water, there's mountains. They're similar, but they're a little different. And Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic are similar, but a little different. Both of them played together on the Mavericks. Both are ball dominant, high usage, need the ball. Both on defense, you got to kind of cover and hide for them. Both of them play a lot of minutes. Both of them really haven't had that success in the playoffs until recently. They're the same, but different. Jalen Brunson is now an NBA championship, and Luka Doncic is not. Here's my hot take starting off the show. He is a top 5 player in the NBA, and he just leapfrogged Luka. He's number 4, and he is the number 1 American player right now.
Can't argue really with that, can you? You could say he's got a pretty good supporting cast in Cat, OG, Mikal Bridges. You have to answer this question. You put Luka on the Knicks. Do they win the NBA title? Take away Brunson. No. Ooh. You think that little of Doncic right now?
Yeah.
You're in LA, dude.
I know.
Oh, man.
If you think about New York, and it's a little cliche, like New Yorkers, they're tough, they show hard, they grind it out. But this team is the epitome of New York. They were down every single game by double digits. They did not give up. They fought. They won. And it was all because of their leader. We're still wondering if Luka can lead a team. Yeah, he can score and he can look pretty out there doing his step back. But can he lead a team to a title? I don't know.
I get you. Like Jalen Brunson is a dog. Yeah, let's call Jalen a top 5 player in the NBA right now. No one's going to argue that.
Well, here's the big call out is Mike Brown came in and he changed the system in that he moved Jalen off the ball and Cat was the playmaker for their deep run in the playoffs. I don't think you can move Luka off the ball. He just sits in the corner by like a superstar or celebrity and doesn't really do anything. Jalen accepted the role. He figured out a different way to get the ball and to score and to create and dominate. But when it's all said and done and it's crunch time, he had 45 points in 41 minutes. No other Knick had more than 12 shots. They knew he was going to score. He had the ball, and he made all the plays at the right time and didn't wear down. Luka wears down. Luka, James Harden, ball usage, wear down in the playoffs. Not the same player. Jalen Brunson was the same player, and in the highest moment, the most clutch moment, he delivered.
I give a lot of credit to Jalen Brunson. I do. He's a great player. I think we're discrediting Mike Brown in some regards. Now, I'll agree with you on Jalen Brunson's better than Luka Doncic. But your point is, like with good coaches, they can go sit with a player and say, listen, I've been there before. I've made a run. I made a run with LeBron with Cleveland. I got the Sacramento Kings to the playoffs. Like I did these things. I understand how to coach.
The Kings took the Warriors to 7 games.
Exactly, with Mike Brown, right? Like, I can do this. Just listen to me. The credibility that he had was effectively shown throughout the playoffs, right? He got those guys prepared. They understood their roles. They effectively executed those roles. They knew who to defer to, like down the stretch. Jalen Brunson's hot. Get him the ball. Cat's hot. Get him the ball. And OG's hot. Get him the ball. And so a lot of, I think, the makeup of the Knicks and the difference from last year when Tibbs was around to this year is Mike Brown. I mean, you can't see it any different. And so Mike Brown won't probably go up in the rafters within the Knicks lore, right? But because Brunson will and overshadow him. It's the first, but you got to look at the coach. Mike Brown needs probably 30% of the credit for that title.
I would say more than that. Mike Brown's won wherever he's gone. Cleveland, LA, back to Cleveland, Sacramento. He spent some time with the Warriors. He's a winner there. Would Luka win a title if he was replaced with Jalen Brunson? No. Let me double down and switch it. would the Spurs have won a title with either Greg Popovich or Mike Brown as a coach?
Yes. I believe Mitch Johnson should be demoted. I do.
Fired or demoted?
Demoted. Listen, he got him there. You did a great job. However, your inexperience was so glaringly obvious down the stretch. I heard a stat that the Spurs were led for 75% of all games at all point in time. 75%. In their three of their losses, they were predicted to win by 90% or more at one point. That is just poor coaching. And then it comes out that a couple of your players didn't understand their roles and wanted more elevated roles and weren't happy when they weren't getting them. And that just leads to, that wouldn't happen with Mike Brown. Mike would say, here's how we're going to win. And either you're going to invest and opt in, or you're probably not going to play. Like, that's the matter of the fact. Mitch Johnson should get demoted because you don't want to be the guy that loses a title again or loses in the playoffs again with what we're going to call a generational player. I'd rather not have that, right? I'd bring, I don't know, Pop back, someone with a little more who's been there before.
I'll say this differently. The only way Mitch Johnson keeps his job is if the Spurs win the title next year. Anything less, he's fired.
I don't know if they give him the keys to the car again.
You think?
Because what you just did, they gave him the keys to the car and he drove it, and then they saw the finish line and he took a hard left and slammed it into the side of, just obliterating the car. Like you were so close.
Then you need to make the move right now because the draft is next week.
Agreed. You don't need to make it like an egregious move. What I'm saying is bring back Pop, bring back some sort of mentorship kind of thing, and really have him learn with what happened. And you better figure out the locker room. Because if you're
didn't figure out the locker room this year and he gets demoted, it's kind of like wasted space, right? Like, why, if there's no respect for him now and he gets demoted, why even have him? You might as well just get rid of him.
I think you got some rapport, right? The organization, he can be the assistant to the traveling secretary or something like that. I just don't, because if you're the Spurs, your window, we talked about the window, it shut a little bit because he lost, obviously. Like if you don't believe
it's shut for Mitch Johnson, I don't think it's shut for
Castle
Wembley.
Right, exactly. But with Mitch Johnson, it's barely open, right? Unless you tell me you're going to turn it around, do a 180 on your coaching. But with someone new, I think that understands the dynamics. You got a lot of young players. Like, you need someone that can identify with those guys. And you'd think it'd be Johnson, but maybe it's not. I think you probably need a veteran that comes in and says, listen, you're either going to play this role or you're not going to win a title. You choose. You want to average 20 or do you want to average 15 and win a title?
Where they struggled down the stretch was the fourth quarter, offensive execution, getting their stars the ball in the right positions. So what they will do, I don't think they're going to fire Mitch Johnson. I don't think they'll demote him. What they should do is they need to bring in an associate head coach who's offensive minded, who can scheme up ways to get easier shots down the stretch. Like, that is the first thing the Spurs should do. The second thing, they need to start and play Dylan Harper. Like, I know De'Aaron Fox last year was your best offensive weapon, and he's your leader, and he's your veteran. But if you're watching the playoffs, who's the best player on the team of the Spurs? It's Dylan Harper. He should be playing and having the ball because he can create in so many different ways. They just stuck with Fox until he just died out. Like, live by the gun, die by the gun. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Live by Fox, die by Fox. I'm not saying you're going to bench Fox, but you maybe move him around and give Harper the ball. He's your best player. And if you can't identify that in real time and make an adjustment, I don't know if you should be the Spurs head coach.
Yeah, you're talking coulda, woulda, shouldas at this point. And every coach, I think the stronger narrative is, I think everyone in the NBA would agree that the Spurs were the more talented team. But the Knicks had time to prepare, and give a good coach that has less talent but more time to prepare for the team, that coach is going to win. And he's more tenured. He's been around. He understands how to win. That coach is going to beat that team What would you see? 4 times out of 5? And so I think the problem is you got a lot of young talent, and I agree with you about Dylan Harper being probably the best guard on that team. But they're so inexperienced. I mean, Dylan Harper never won a game at Rutgers. Come on. Like, he doesn't know how to win a game down the stretch. He was just putting up 20 to put up 20, so he got drafted high.
He didn't look like that in the NBA Finals first year. But your most important point is the parts and the components didn't work together because no one knew their role. Josh Hart knows his role. OG knows his role. Bridges knows his role. On the Spurs, it's like, am I the guy or I'm not? Am I going to go here or I'm going to defer? But let's not get it twisted. Some of the blame is on Mitch Johnson, but a majority of the blame, I think, it's got to go on Wemby. Like, and all season long, he played 30 minutes and he dominated. And like, wait till we unleash him for 40 minutes. Well, he couldn't even score or do anything in the clutch because he was so out of breath. He was so winded. Yep. So he's got to figure out like the Mamba mentality or Jordan's stamina to last, to be effective towards the end of the game. Because it was like he disappeared. And how can you disappear when you're 7'6"?
How old's Wemby?
22, 23.
Do you remember back in the day when you'd party at 22, 23 and you'd pedal out like right around midnight, you know? You get a little older, you cruise into 2, go to Taco. That's how it felt like. Like Wemby, just to your point, he didn't have his legs underneath him. He's still young. He's still maturing. He's still developing. And gosh, the brightest lights were on him. And he felt like he had to deliver. And I bet you the reason he walked off is he was just... He knew, I think in his heart of heart, he knew he wasn't fully ready to take that on. Like he wasn't there yet. Like skills wise, yes. But like understanding development, to your point, stamina, wasn't quite there yet.
All the greats know how to get their shots or what to do to manipulate the defense. He's still trying to figure that out. Like,
what are his shots?
The lob and a Euro step.
Sure.
And he throws it up to himself and tips it like a Nerf hoop. That's his go-to move. He doesn't have it yet. I think he will get there. We mentioned it last week. LeBron lost in his first finals. Mm-hmm. Shaq lost in his first finals. I think Dirk lost in his first finals. So they got here based on talent, and they were ahead of schedule. They surprised everyone. But to win the title, they've got to learn from this, and they got to execute, and they've got to get better, and they've got to figure out how these 3 superstars can play together at a high level and close out the game. But you said it perfectly. Attention to detail in roles. And the Knicks had attention to detail. They knew their roles.
They hired John Wooden. He would have the Spurs winning. Or Red Auerbach, he'd have 13 straight NBA titles with Wemby.
Or Kyle Shanahan. Let's get this started. Hello and welcome to Big Ben and K-Win. Each week we broadcast live on YouTube. So if you're watching YouTube, make sure you tickle that subscribe button. More of an audio podcast person. We have Spotify, audio and video, iHeart, Apple, and more. Make sure you 5-star review us. It will help us out. And also subscribe so you get notified each and every week. At Big Ben K-Win _ at Big Ben K-Win _ anywhere you get your social media. That's Threads, that's TikTok, that's Instagram, that's YouTube Shorts, and more. I'm K-Win, he's Big Ben. We talked NBA playoffs and finals and final thoughts. We're going to talk a little Brendan Sorsby from Texas Tech, a little World Cup, and much, much more.
All right, give me your World Cup. We had a game here in Seattle today. It's a thing here in Seattle. It's a thing. There's barges. There's big. So I only saw the World Cup once in Portugal, and they had like down in the city center just this massive screen and like probably 10,000 people going bonkers. I'm like, this is crazy. And there's that going on in Seattle, just at probably a much smaller scale.
I love the World Cup, and I'm not a big soccer or football fan because I like the idea of playing for something every 4 years. And it's on a global stage. where everyone cares about it. Football, basketball, baseball, people care about in the States and like a couple other countries. But soccer, everyone cares about that worldwide. So I love watching it for the patriotism, whatever that word is. But I want to talk a little bit about FIFA World Cup. And I know most of our listeners, it's college baseball, college football, NBA, NFL, and MLB. So it's a little out of our jurisdiction, but I want to bring you back into our jurisdiction with this analogy. In college football, you have the Power Four conferences, and then you've got everyone else. So you've got the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, then you've got the Group of Five, and everyone else. In FIFA World Cup, you've got the Power Four and everyone else. You've got Argentina. You've got Spain. They look bad today, but they will be all right. You've got France and you've got England. And then you've got everybody else. The U.S. is coming in at number 15. Essentially, they're mid-major. They're like James Madison, North Texas, or Tulane. So my question to you, Big Ben, is can the U.S., who's a mid-major, actually win this thing? Or are they getting blown out by Ole Miss in the Grove once we get to the knockout round?
4 goals doesn't. I mean, if you want to draw attention in, score goals. And you putting up 4 goals in this first game. The interesting thing is I think our head coach actually is Argentinian. Like, we had to go outside of our own country to find a good coach that knew soccer well enough to actually – a lot of new players, a lot of players that I think Pulisic probably the most well-known player. He scored already in the game. I will tell you one thing. I walked into Dick's Sporting Goods the day after the game. The line is – it is just open. People are ripping stuff off, getting jerseys. World Cup's something. The U.S., and where I'm going with this, there's momentum. There's a lot of mo behind the United States.
There's a lot of momentum around James Madison, too.
Exactly. They're a 15 seed. They just knocked off, well, probably, let's just say they're last 4 in and they just won their first 4 in the game. But it doesn't hurt that the NHL Stanley Cup finals are over. NBA finals are over. College World Series is going to wrap up. There's going to be a lot more focus on these games. And the fact that they're taking place in the States or in North America, there's going to be a lot more attention. Yeah, I think there's a good chance. There's a decent chance. There's always that chance. I mean, Spain, couldn't score a goal against the smallest little island off the coast of like South Africa or something today. Anything could happen. These guys are kicking the ball. It takes us one good try, own goal. Who knows?
The strength of schedule where there's the favorable schedule early on in college sports, and then you get to the conference and it gets more competitive. That's what we're seeing right now. Paraguay's ranked 41st. They should have scored 4 goals. I could have scored 4 goals.
Whoa. Stop there.
I'm just saying it's favorable scheduling for the U.S. to advance in pool play. So the top 2 teams in each pool advance, as well as the top 8 3 seeds advance. So USA is going to advance. Book it. K-Win said it. No K-Win jinx here. We're going to advance.
Okay. Then what?
We're going to get crushed like Northern Texas, Tulane, or James Madison, because Oregon is Spain. Then you've got France. I didn't even name Brazil. You've got Ronaldo's team, who's Ronaldo. Portugal. They're good. Yeah. Turkey lost to Australia, but Turkey's still pretty good as well. I'm just saying, U.S. soccer fans, enjoy this. Enjoy the next couple weeks. Paint your face. Raise the flag. Put your hand on your heart. Sing the national anthem and soak it up. Because once the Power 4 schools get to the knockout round, it's good night. We are highly capable of winning early. Winning late, no chance.
Our next opponent is Australia here in Seattle on the 19th, Juneteenth. And I read an article. This is going to be an interesting. The Aussies, they're called the Socketeers or something along those lines. The Aussies are bringing something like 35,000 people here. I'm going to go down to the stadium and sell some shrimp on the bobby, and what else do they? Dingoes? Sell some dingoes.
So I was at the Aussie Turkey game. They have these inflatable kangaroos that say "Good day" on them. So you need some inflatable kangaroos.
I'll get some inflatable kangaroos. The reason I bring that up is Australia's a pretty good team.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get a good idea. Is you think they advance? Now there's a difference between advancing, kind of on a, in third place in the pool goal differential, and like advancing. You went 4-0 or whatever in pool play, 3-0. Australia, I think, is probably going to wax them, put them back in their places, and then we'll see what happens from there. They might not get out of pool play.
They're getting Paraguay is number 4. They already beat them. They're up 4 goals. They'll beat Australia. I don't know.
Whoa! Hat bet.
Whoa, hat bet?
Yes.
On the Australia-US game.
Yes,
Friday.
I'm taking the Aussies, the Socceteers. Good day, and the Kangaroos.
Right. Done. I'll do it. Done. Hat bet.
Dunzo.
Yeah.
I'm going to I'm going to go down to the stadium. I'm going to do the walk to the stadium with all the Australian hat bet. That'd be great. I think World Cup, it's interesting now. Will get obviously much more interesting moving forward.
It's exciting. It's great.
Give me your feedback on the game. You went to the game. Give me your peak and pit. What was the highlight? What was the low light?
The highlight was, I didn't think people from Australia liked that song. I come from a land down under. I thought they hated that song. They played that song. The place was going nuts.
Yes.
Absolutely nuts. That was the highlight. The Aussies were so excited. They were so friendly. They were so fun to watch. We saw Turkey, who had some great players, but they were a little passive and conservative. Again, this is just me interacting with the fans. So I'm just like asking, like, who are your players? He's like, we're not scoring. We're not shooting. This guy plays for Juventus. This guy plays for Real Madrid. They're not doing anything. So the Aussies came out fast and furious, and that was great. The atmosphere was awesome. The vibe was cool. I love Vancouver. The weather was perfect. Here in LA, it gets a little chilly at night. But there, it was perfect, like into the night. 9 o'clock game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It went till 11.
Did you piddle at midnight?
No, I rested up. I got ready for that.
Nice.
Did Brendan Sorsby game the system and win?
I think he tested the system, right?
I think he won.
I don't know if he won. So wait.
He won. Game over.
He won on a technicality. He said basically, if this isn't, I agree with whoever said this. They said this isn't a betting problem. This isn't an NCAA problem. It's a legal judicial matter. Because if someone like Brendan Sorsby says, and the NCAA says you're banned, but yet I can go to a local judge and he make an injunction that nope, we're not going to rule on that right now. You're going to go play and we'll rule on it later, just so it doesn't impact you. That is a legal matter. Like, that is the problem, is that these players are going in, and this, like Tristan Chiblis, the guy from Old Miss, is ruling. Where'd he go? Where do you think he went to get ruled on, like whether or not he'd play or not? He went to a court in Old Miss. What are they going to say? Yes, you can play. That is the problem. However, if you look at...
So gambling's not the problem?
Well, gambling's the problem. But the fact that he would have been allowed to play is a legal matter, right? Correct. So that's the issue. Now, I think the NCAA had to draw a line in the sand and say, no betting, just flat out no betting. We don't care. And I think Sorsby came to the table and said, listen, I realized what I did was I screwed up. I went to recovery. Right? But you can't go up to the NCAA and say some amends and be like, "Oh, okay, Brandon, okay, it's okay, we'll let you play." Just that doesn't work, because that sets a precedent that you can be redeemed and just go back in. That doesn't work. It works in other facets of life, but in this area, it doesn't work. But I think Sorsby thought he had a case because this was the first case, and he thought he could set a precedent that you go and reform yourself in recovery and gambling addiction and do other things to better yourself, then they would effectively right all wrongs. It didn't.
He gamed the system and won. He's laughing all the way to the NFL supplemental draft. He went from Indiana to Cincinnati, where he bet on the Hoosiers while he wasn't playing. And then he's starting quarterback for Cincinnati. He bet again. He bet over $90,000, I think thousands of bets. And then he transferred to Texas Tech. Hold on. He signed an NIL deal with Cincinnati, $1 million. Then he transferred to Texas Tech, $5 million. That will be invalidated. He was ineligible. Then he was eligible, but he had to sit out 2 games. And then the Big 12 issued like a federal lawsuit to like the Texas Attorney General, everyone under the sun. And then he just escapes and goes to the NFL supplemental draft where he's going to go play in the NFL. He got paid. He didn't get punished. He bounced around. He threw for like 80 touchdowns, and he's on to his next job.
You know what's funny?
The system and won.
He did. Do you remember the name Rick Neuheisel? I heard this brought up the other day. Rick Neuheisel, right?
UW coach.
So guess how he got fired?
NCAA tournament gambling.
He had 2 family-run pools that he disclosed that he participated in. I don't even think for money. And they booted him. They had to fire him. So you're right. Like the line has become like the NCAA has allotted a lot of ambiguity for this in some cases. And you're right. I don't think Sorsby is going to be. My other question to you. This is my big question. If this was a second string right tackle for Baylor who did the same thing, would this be a big deal?
He would have been ineligible, and we would even have heard about it. It wouldn't be on the ESPN's front page.
No one would have heard about it. But Sorsby, I think, was a victim of his own fame, his own how good he was. I mean, he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks potentially coming back in the NCAA.
Yeah.
Did he get away scot-free? Maybe. But does what he did? I mean, you can't take away that he's a good quarterback.
He's a great quarterback.
Right. He bet on his own team. Like, you could sell like you and I could set up a legal little, like if I'm the defense, he bet on his own team. He made his own dues. Those teams gave him money knowing these things, right? He went to treatment. He's done all the right things. He's just asking to play one more year. That's it. And he'll give all his NIL money to charity. Like, you can create a pretty picture around Sorsby.
When you have 2 great alternatives, you can't make a bad decision. He had $5 million at Texas Tech or the NFL. That's why he won the system.
True. But again, he did what I think what you're insinuating is that a cop car should have pulled up and put him in the back of the car.
I'm just saying he didn't miss any time.
Right.
He wasn't ineligible. He didn't hurt his draft stock status because the NFL supplemental draft, it's like an auction draft for fantasy football where you place a bid. So if you place a bid on, I think he's worth a 4th round pick, you can get him if you're the highest bidder, and then you don't have a 4th round pick the next year. NFL execs are saying he's worth an NFL 2nd round pick. So he's going to make money. He's going to go to the Jets or the Cardinals or probably the Browns, and he's going to be fine.
Okay. I think he deserves that.
No, he definitely deserves it. But
you just want to villainize him. Let's villainize him.
I think despite everything that he's going through, his dream of playing in the NFL did not get sidetracked based on his gambling and his antics.
Sure.
But I will say this, another player who got drafted at NFL supplemental draft pick was Josh Gordon. And his career didn't turn out that well because
his antics are a little different from Sorsby's antics.
It's either drugs or academics or there's something as to the reason why you apply for the NFL supplemental draft.
I think in summary, for me, Brandon Sorsby, there will be kind of the Brandon Sorsby case as the judicial system cannot override, past betting, examples, and an amends you make against those does not clear you of allowing you to play. Like, you have to live with those bets. And I don't know where the line is of, are you going to audit players? How do you, what do you do if you do find out that someone's been gambling? Just, you done?
I think if they still have eligibility left, you have to do a case of investigation, and it depends on how many bets, how much money, who are they betting on, and then you have to say, like, okay, that's no more eligibility, or you have to sit out a year. I think it depends on what they're betting on, how much they're betting on, and if they're betting on themselves.
I think there's a reform process, like where you get caught betting, you're out 2 games, you got to go to some sort of gambling addiction counseling prolonged. You got to graduate from that. You got to take some sort of, you got to lock your cell phone in some sort of device so you can't gamble. I don't know what it is, but they'll probably come out. The NCAA will have to come out with something, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if he gets drafted by the Cardinals, supplemental pick, and he ends up starting, and he's a starting quarterback for the Cardinals, and he's got a bet MGM deal with the W Hotel in Scottsdale and Mastros, then he really did win the system.
I don't think he's trying to play the system. He just wanted to bet on his team a few times. Like, he wasn't like, I don't think they're.
But we don't know if he won on information.
Do we not know? We don't know? Or
we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
There'll be a 30 for 30 or something.
I will watch that 30.
Like, listen, Brandon, now that you're a 3-time All-Pro quarterback, 2 Super Bowls, tell us what you actually did back in the day. Really rile you up. Really rile you up.
That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yeah, you got anything else?
No, I had a theory for you. We can talk about it next time.
Until next time, make sure you follow us, subscribe, and like our post and our YouTube content. We are at Big Ben Kwin _ anywhere on social media. That's Threads, that's X, that's TikTok. Don't forget to follow the Discord. Each and every week, a brand new episode. So if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're an audio podcast person like Spotify, iHeart, or Apple, make sure you subscribe and 5-star us. I'm Kwin, he's Big Ben, and we're going to bring down the house.
Come on, you're better than that. Who would be the mole at Cincinnati?
Why is he placing bets? We've watched the TV show Entourage. You got to have a turtle in your group of friends.
Right, yes.
And Turtle's placing those bets. You need a fall guy out of your friend group.
I actually wrote this down.
You think he's using his government ID when he signs in for the betting app?
You see that? Encrypted anonymous betting. That's what they need. We need to invent that. Remember Signal? Where you'd be like, it's encrypted, all that stuff. We need encrypted anonymous betting. You come up, you get a token for those bets. You hold on to that token. The token's reference to those bets in the future. You get paid on that. No one needs to know who you are.
That's called Bitcoin.
Let's just do a straight cash. Like, the cash will arrive at your house.
Wow, just duffel bag boys are back.
We're looking at another service, the Duffel Bag Boys in every city. Oh.
I guarantee you every bookie has his list of college quarterbacks, and he's DM'd or reached out to all of them. Like,
you think so?
100%. In all seriousness, I guarantee a lot of these professional paid-for-play athletes are getting hit up by people, and they just have to be smart about it, right? Like, I'm sure you could end up hanging out with the wrong people and making a bad decision at like 18 or 19.
Yeah, the Rutgers QB is going to be the first guy. You want concrete on your feet, buddy? Throw you in the Hudson real quick.